when you lose some games in a row, you lose a little confidence in your shooting. Pittsburgh was smart. They went back inside and just made us shoot a few. And when you're not making threes against the zone, you're going to have a problem. I thought the second half, we tried to screen a little more. Frank got in the lane, made a couple big plays. Tyus got in there. Then he got the three that broke it open off the same screen play. But I thought Merrick seems to be the only guy in the middle of the zone that has an idea of what he's doing in there. Our other two freshmen don't, and that hurts us against the zone. You got to have somebody in there making plays. I think defensively we were okay, except our best players have got to know what guy is making shots. There's one guy making shots. You cannot let that guy shoot. And this has been a problem a little bit at Florida State and here. There's one guy that can make shots, and we're not guarding him. That's not a good recipe, especially when you're struggling a little bit on offense. And we started to find him a little bit better, but then right at the end, we were fortunate. We were in enough position to have enough lead, but we just left him open on an inbound situation. And you can't do that. I just don't think we're reading things. I think we got a lot of guys, it's their first year of having to make plays, Frank, defense and offense. It's his first time as a starter where he's been in the league and playing these games. And the freshman, long way to go. I think Pascal he takes a step forward, then he takes a step backward. Tonight he had opportunities and he's bringing the ball down and not finishing. And then, what he can do is, like at the end there, he got mad a little bit. He got the pass, he came down, he dunked it. Well, he should be doing that the whole game, but he just isn't that mentality, and he's got to get that mentality. He's just not doing that, and we need him to do that. His presence on defense is very important, helps us, but I think O'Shea, too, has taken a little step back. He was getting to the basket better early in the year. I still think he did try tonight. I think he might have gotten hit a couple times, but you still got to finish those. But we need him to get back in there. I thought, again, it was good the way Merrick played tonight. I thought he took a step up. Howard, played really well on the road. He did not play well here in the first half, but I think he's getting better. I think they're working in practice. I think the biggest thing, we've changed a couple things in the man-to-man stuff that I think helped us a little bit at Florida State, and I think will help us going forward. We need practice days. This team, more than any team I've ever had at this stage of the year, we really need some days of practice just to make sure we understand what we're trying to do. In the tough games we've had, like Florida State, where, offensively, Tyus is just carrying us. We need everybody to get involved. I think that's the one good thing about this game. Some other guys made plays, and, obviously he has to make some plays for us to win. But when we struggled early, other guys stepped up and made plays. But we've got a long way to go offensively. I think these few days will help us, but it's a difficult league. Every game's going to be difficult, and we just have to keep working and trying to get a little bit better. And I think we will. Questions?
Jim, when you say with Pascal it's a mentality, what do you mean by that?
He's just not a tough guy. He's got to be a tougher guy. He brings the ball down, people take it away from him. You can't let that happen. You just can't. You've got to be. He's a super nice, big guy. You got to play with an edge when you're big, and he doesn't.
Jim, you kind of mentioned this, but this is the third time this season that one player has made 7 3-pointers. What happens when that one player just gets going from behind the arc? How do you try to adjust to that?
Obviously, we didn't.
How do you do it moving forward?
Obviously, we haven't, so we need to.
Several times, like at stoppage of play after Stewart had hit a 3, and I can see several of the players talking to each other, like trying to figure out.
There was one play that they did that, and that was on the out-of-bounds pass, inbounds. O'Shea had to take the baseline. Frank thought he somehow was going to get him. It was Frank had that. They haven't crossed. Nobody's really crossed the ball against us like they did on that inbounds, which is effective because we're loading up on more on the other side, and teams have mostly passed it out. So we really haven't seen that. It's a real good play. It's a little difficult pass. We weren't quite on the ball enough, but Frank's got to see where that guy is and adjust, and we just didn't adjust to it.
What made you rip the jacket off?
Well, because we left the guy open for about a 6'3". That's enough. I think that's my limit. When we leave a guy open for 6'3s, I guess that was it. I guess.
Coach, what was the biggest difference for Frank and Tyus in the second half when they got more free offense?
They got to the basket. We drove. It's hard to drive against. Our zone you can drive against because we are more spread out and we cover more on the perimeter. Because we are worried about the three-point shot, although we didn't do a good job tonight, but we did on the other guys. But when they're as tight as they are in there, it's difficult. We tried to set a couple different kinds of screens to see, and we finally did get in there. Frank got in there and made a couple big buckets. But I'm disappointed because we get in there, and the shots we miss, we're bringing people to us, and we got 7-2, 6-8, 6-9. And we're not getting it back. And Pittsburgh's not a great rebound team. They're good, okay, but they're not great. We need to get some of those back, and we just didn't.
Coach, you mentioned that Frank's gotten a lot better this year. Is there anywhere particularly you've noticed him improve?
Well, he's improved his shooting. I think he's like tonight he made big plays. He got 7 rebounds. We need Tyus to get back in there and help us on the boards. Frank's only negative has been his turnovers. He had just 1 tonight. I think that's been really the main thing that he's had. He's played pretty good, solid defense, and I just think that he's he's really been solid all year. He's got a quirk in his shot. When he releases it properly, it goes in. But as the game goes on, sometimes he starts to knuckle it. He doesn't get the same release. And as a jump shooter, you've got to have the same release. And that's where he's got to go back and make sure he's working on it. Because people are he's going to get shots. He's going to get outside shots. Tyus isn't going to get a lot of good looks, but Frank's going to get them. And he needs to. We really have 2 guys that, although O'Shea is starting to better from the three-point line, he's having trouble converting, going to the basket.
Jim, is Merrick just a better player against his own defense right now than against a man-to-man?
Well, he is good in the middle of the zone. I think he's a better player than he's shown in the league. I think early he was good. I think he got caught in the league in the physical, and I don't think he adjusted very well, and he struggled in the league. And, against physical man-to-man teams, he probably will struggle a little bit. I thought Matt has come on, but tonight, Matt started out second half and made a bad defensive rotation, didn't get back once, and then tries to shoot a jump shot over a 7-foot guy right in his face when he's got 2 guys open that can shoot a 3. And, we can't do that. We can't do that. We can't afford that. We're just not good enough. And he's had a good week he had a good couple days of practice. He's trying to look a little bit more for stuff, and that's important. We need him to. I think sometimes I see, you see the great freshmen, obviously, but there's a lot of really, 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 really good freshmen that were top 50, 60, 70 in the country that don't even play on a lot of teams, not just the real good teams, but even on just okay teams. It's not that easy. If you're not a top 15, 20 freshman, it's hard to come out there. I mean, O'Shea's having a great year for a freshman, and Matt and Merrick they're giving contributions, but it's hard when you have to play a lot of minutes as a freshman and you're kind of you need time. You need time. It's just like Frank did when he was a freshman. When you start playing guys like that, and Pittsburgh's a good example. Those guys are pretty good players, but they're freshmen. You can't win with freshmen. That's why we need Tyus and Frank to play so well, because all those other guys are new. They're trying to figure out how to play, and it's not easy. It really is not easy. And we've got a lot of tough games against a lot of good teams with a lot of veteran players. We went to Florida State. They got a lot of guys, and I wish Mann had played because the other guy shoots better than him. So it would have actually probably helped us a little bit. But we played great there, good enough to be right there to win in regulation, win in overtime. But those are tough places, tough games. And every game we have is going to be tough, every game. You know, there's not an easy game on the schedule. And I think we'll be in those games. I think we got a chance in every one of those games, just like we have now. But we're going to have to play really well. We're going to have to make some shots, and there will be nothing easy, though. It'll be difficult, and that's just the way college basketball is, and this league is in general. The home teams are winning because even the weaker teams can beat you at home. There's some years where there's 2 or 3 teams that probably can't win it, even at home. But now all these teams can win at home. You know, that's just the way it is. That's the way the league is. It'll be tough. I think these days will help us. But these guys have got to keep getting better. They got to keep going. You know, we had that look a little bit when you lose 4 straight games, like what are we going to do? Early in the year, we played even, look at the Toledos and the Buffalo and the Oaklands. Those teams are as good as Pittsburgh or better. But we hadn't lost, and we had the confidence just to keep playing, and we did. Tonight, we were kind of looking at it, and then Frank made a couple big plays, and then Tyus made a big 3, and then we kind of got a little space, and then Merrick made a play, and, we got going a little bit. But every game's going to be difficult for this team, and we just got to keep working at it and keep playing. And I'm encouraged by how really close we came. We should have won 2 of those road games, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. Tough games on the road, it's not that easy to win. But they're working hard. They're doing everything we ask them, that I ask them to do, and they're just in a learning situation. Tonight we only had 10 turnovers, which is good. We need to take care of that part of it for sure. All right, we'll see you next week.